All right, good morning. Um, I am working on a present for a friend, and the friend looks something like this guy, and a bunch of you probably know him. I have him uh, privacy settings. He hopefully won't see this post, and we've been. He missed the Ready Player One premiere due to some unfortunate circumstances, and I had joked about making him this shirt for the premiere. Well, he's finally going to see the movie today, and so I am frantically trying to get this shirt done. He's going to be here somewhere near 11 o'clock, so I got 55 minutes to make this shirt for him. And if he gets here early, it may be a work in progress. Um, so I've already done a bunch of the art. So this is the character from the movie, and then this is the shirt. Luckily, it's one color. Don't get me started on how much fun these little details are going to be to weed, but we're gonna make a pass at it. So I've got this. I've got this. Hopefully the camera angle is decent. You can see what I'm working on here. I've got this picture in with my Illustrator artboard, and I've already done a bunch of work to get. This is actually a TrueType font that has all the Space Invaders characters in it. Unfortunately, it didn't have the barriers, so I found some other art that had the barriers. I had to create the laser blast. Who cares? That's no big deal. And then I found this art and converted it for Illustrator as well. I happen to use one of my favorite features, the transform that lets you replicate at a specific pacing. But then spacing, not pacing. The thing I always forget to do on this, if you watch any of my other videos, is I forget to reflect the graphic because you have to cut it backwards for heat transfer. Well, I actually set an alarm so I would not forget to do it. And when I do it, look what happens. A bunch of stuff moves, and it's because my transforms are all set to go to the right, and I need to flip them to go to the left. And luckily, I don't think that's that big a deal. So I think what I can do, and I'm just going to try with one of these characters here. So I've got the appearance panel open. I'm going to hit transform. And right here it says it's set for 1.16. I think if I make it negative, hey, I think that works. So, and I created a new version of my file before I started this mess. So negative. And then luckily I had ordered some new heat transfer vinyl, and it came in last night. Yay, Amazon. So I just have to find all these transforms, I think, and set them negative. Yep. So almost done. This one. I love this this transform. I use it all the time for when I want to cut repetitive objects, like when I'm cutting these keychains. I want to take one piece of art and replicate that out a whole bunch of times. And so that saves you from like copying and pasting. If you need to make one change, you make one change and not a bunch. So clearly I still have some stuff stacked here. So I don't want to go screwing around with my spacing because I've spent a bunch of time on it. So row 1 looks good, row 2 looks good. You can see I've used labels for my group over here. You probably can't read them, but I'm a big fan of properly labeling things in Illustrator. So here we go, row 3. Yep, that has a transform on it. So let's set that negative. All right, so row 4's got a problem. Let's see which one it is. Is it this one? Yep, it has a transform. So I'm literally just looking for these transforms and then resetting them. And I think this will be our last one here. If I could actually select the right object. And okay, so that ended up not being too bad. It would be neat if the reflect had an option to do that. Now, in hindsight, you know, these are symmetrical characters. I could have left my existing transforms and just moved the spacing of those two, but I already had everything gridded out. I spent about, I don't know, an hour this morning building it at home before I headed to the makerspace. So, okay, it's reversed now. The next thing I need to do is convert all these objects to outlines. They're just filled right now, so it's not that big a deal. So I should be able to just set them all white and then set their stroke to what the laser will cut. So this is 0.001. Okay. Now let's see. That looks good. I'm going to save this file again. Save as V3. We're going to make this. We'll make this V4. I like having lots of step-by-step files. So when I screw up, not if, when I screw up, I can go back. The other thing you have to watch out for is sometimes you end up with duplicate lines, and I kind of feel like some of these are bolder than others, and it's when you use the image trace function, you will occasionally get doubled up lines. So let me find let's see if there's two of those. Is that one of the ones that looked bolder? Yeah, it does. So let's see if I delete that. Yep, see there was another one there. So what I need to do is go through on these. Yep, there's just an extra one there. So let's see. When I delete them, if it stays behind, then I know. Yeah, this is like it's kind of an artifact of using the image trace function, is you get some doubled up. And in that case, oh, let's put our eye back. That wasn't good. Okay, and it looks a lot cleaner over here in the layers panel too. Now I can see each individual. And the only problem would be is it would have just cut all the way through that on the vinyl when I just want the top layer cut and not cut all the way through. All right, 10:12 a.m. So I think we're still doing okay. We're going to save that again. I'm going to turn off this file because this image that I have pasted in here, because I don't want that going to the laser. And then what I'm going to need to do is now print this to the laser. And the thing is, I'm going to cut, let me get it. I'm going to cut it on this heat transfer vinyl, this gold color, yellow gold color. The problem is I have one sheet, so I get one chance at this. And so what I need to do is get the settings on the laser right so that it'll cut the top layer without cutting the bottom layer. And what I'm finding is we use so little power on the laser to do the cut that it tends to be a little finicky and you got to dial it in. So, but I've made my artboard the size of this sheet. And you see all this extra space I have at the bottom and this space up here. So I've got some extra space to do some testing with, which is what I'm going to do first. The other thing I'm going to do is actually now see if I leave this border here, it's gonna leave a wide piece. And so what I would normally do is move that over and up. Although, you know, I really don't need to, because I have this extra. I have a little bit of the extra on the vinyl, and I could, you know, I don't need to, you know, really preserve this. Although the other thought would be I might be able to cut this way because this is 12 inches this way, and let's see how tall this ended up becoming. That rectangle, oh, look at that. I can actually, if I make this a 12-inch tall rectangle, aha, so I can actually cut, I could cut the other direction, which I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is, because right now I have all these guides to center everything up, but I can actually get rid of those because I'm done with them. I'm gonna move everything together now, and I'm actually gonna change my artboard now. I'm gonna move my artboard. I want it to be 12 inches tall, and then, come on, oop, whatever I just did there was bad. So I'm no expert in Illustrator by any means, right now I mostly want to make sure I don't accidentally screw anything up. So I just want a little bit of a border over there, and so now we can see this ends up being 12 by, let's call it 12 by 11. Oop, not 112. See, I told you I make mistakes all the time. Okay, 12 by 11. But then what I need to do is get my lines and my cuts dialed in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy one of these. These have transforms on them, but I'm going to copy. Nah, I'm not going to copy one of those. I'm just going to use a square as a test. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to create a square here. That square is, we're going to make it, I've been using 1/2-inch squares to test this. And so what I'll do is I'll cut out that 1/2-inch square up here in the top left, and just make sure that it cuts okay with our settings. And I'm going to turn off everything other than that rectangle. So poof. No, wait. Poof. There we go. So when I print to the laser, I'm only going to print that one square, which is a 0.001 line. Make this a little bigger so you can see it. And now I've set the tripod up where I can't get to our settings table. So hang on a second. See, we have all of our settings on this little guide sheet here. And I made this is from Epilog. This is their sheet. And then this is the last time I cut heat transfer vinyl. So I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cheat and pull it out here for right now. That was the settings I was using the other day. So there's two different cuts. 20%, is it 20% speed, 2 power, 500 frequency. That would cut just the top layer, and then 10 to 500 would cut the bottom layer. But let's move you back up here where you can see the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit print, and I need to set up preferences. First thing I need to do is set it. We're doing vector only, which means cuts. We're not doing any engraving. My sheet is 11 by 12, and I said that my my cutting power, or my top power, would be 20% speed, 2% power, and then 500 for the frequency. You know, and we just played around, and this was a set of settings that worked. I think if we were going to do a lot of this, which we will at some point, what we'll do is we'll increase the speed much higher, and then we'll take the power up with it. But we wanted to kind of keep the speed and the power low so we don't put a lot of heat into the vinyl, because we didn't want it to stretch or do other weird things. So this is what worked for right now, so we're going to go with it. So print, and then I have to do that one more time. So now I see my board the right way. I see this this square up here. So now what I need to do is move over to the laser and get set up. So let me hit print on that job, so that job will go to the laser, and I see it on the laser. So let me move the tripod here. Forgive me for some moving around. Okay, so here's the laser, and let me actually, this tripod is not cooperating here. I don't think I tightened the legs down enough when I set it up, sorry. Sorry for the shaky cam here at the moment. Okay, so this is a little better. So here's our Epilog 36 by 24 50-watt laser. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop the top here. We're going to set our vinyl. Remember, I figured out I could cut left to right this way. I'm going to set it there. And then the good news is it came rolled, but it's actually laying pretty flat right now. Okay, so I need to do a couple things. I need to focus it first, which you probably can't see me do. Turn it this way more. Okay, so the way you focus this laser is you turn this little piece here, and then what we do is we move the head, or the bed, up and down until that touches. See it move there? Okay, so that's about perfect. We flip this guy back over. We need to turn our pointer on, and we're going to home it at the very top left because we want to get as much out of this sheet of material as we can. So I'm going to set my home, hit reset. Okay, and for anybody watching and you're freaking out that you're like, you can't cut vinyl in a laser, what are you doing? It turns out heat transfer vinyl is not actually made of vinyl. It's made of polyurethane, so you can cut it safely. This does not work with standard adhesive vinyl. Do not cut vinyl or anything PVC in your laser. You will create chlorine gas. It's very bad for you. It will kill the operator. It will rust the laser. We don't want rusty lasers now, do we? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have a job in here. I have focused it. But one thing is when we're doing such a low power job that I need to warm the laser up real quick. So I'm going to go to the maintenance screen, and there's an option for firing the laser to align it. And you see a little puff of smoke there. That means it's already good and hot. So life is good. So I'm going to hit stop, reset, get it back to home. Okay, so now we're home. I need to turn our vent fan on. Okay, so everything's on. And now what we're going to do is just cut that one small square with those settings. Okay, see, that was easy, huh? Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop it open. And you know what? I'm going to turn the fan off so you can hear. There's a little vinyl weed tool. I'm going to go run and get that. I'll be right back. Ta-da! One of these. These are beautiful for weed and vinyl, right? Come on, focus. Yay. Something like that. Okay. See these? Okay. So what we're going to do, let's see, get that in frame, is we're just going to try to peel this, and we're either going to get, I need something flat under here because this is the vector grid, it's a bit much trying to work on it. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to try to peel this, and we're either going to get one layer or two here. That's not working very well. Let's get the edge, and that is what we want, except yes, that's what we wanted. Yep, so that just cut off the top layer so that, but silly me, you cut it upside down, right? Am I thinking about that right? How did I cut the other? Huh, I was cutting white. How was I cutting? Yeah, I was cutting it that way. No, I was cutting it. Now I'm wondering if when I was working with white, I wonder if I fused the white on backwards. I wonder if it actually made a difference, because I was cutting just the vinyl layer. And here, when I put it down, I guess I should have cut it the other way. See, like I said, I make lots of mistakes. Yeah, I guess, is that what I've been doing? No, I've been cutting vinyl up, so in that case that's this way. Okay, I guess just because I was working with white, both sides were the same color, so I didn't really think about it. Okay, so that's interesting, because if I cut that way, now what I'm going to need to do, oh, remember I turned this way. See how the curve is getting us now because the roll? So we're going to cheat. Show you a way to cheat here. We're going to use these other colors as a quick mask for the bed. Oh. This will make sense. Look at the pink. Wow. This is some seriously hot pink right here, boy. Okay, so if we do this, now what's going to happen is when we turn our fan back on, see that? It pulls them all flat because some of the suction is through the bed. And so if you mask off the bed, it holds everything nice and tight. Okay, so let's do that cut again now that I think I'm cutting on the right side. So, hey, this is why you do tests, right? Except I'm wasting a little vinyl there. There we go. Instead of rehoming it, I just slid the vinyl down. Okay, and reset. Fan is on. Let's do the same job again. Okay, let's see. And then okay, so the weed tool back. Now what we want to see is keep doing things off camera, sorry. Okay, so the good news is that did cut just the vinyl, because that's what we would want to do, is we would be weeding our excess vinyl, and we would get a yellow layer. We would be setting it down like that. Okay, I'm feeling better about this now. Okay. And the cut setting was good. I don't know if you can see that. We cut through the top layer, but not the whole thing, right? All right, so let's mask this puppy again. We'll hit reset. We're going to delete that old job. Let's make sure it's nice and lined up. Oh, except, and look, I said I only had one sheet, but that gold would work too if I need to. So if I get in trouble, I can do it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, bear with me, I'll move back to the computer for a second. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our layers, and we'll turn off that little rectangle, and we'll turn on our whole group, okay? Now, what I could do if I needed to is I could put a die cut around it, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm just going to lop off the edges with a pair of scissors. It'll be easier and not have to worry about it. Okay, so let's hit print, and you can see the job looks good. We already have the right settings, but we're just going to check preferences to, yep, all that stayed the same. Print, and we're going to hit print, and then now I see the job come back over here again. So, all right, we're going to set you up again here. Okay, so for those who missed it, I'm not cutting vinyl. I'm cutting polyurethane. Turns out heat transfer vinyl is not really vinyl. It's actually polyurethane. So do not cut vinyl, normal adhesive vinyl. This is polyurethane. You need to make sure that your material is polyurethane. I can tell you that the Sicer Easy Weed is polyurethane. It is not a problem. So it's up to you to validate your heat transfer vinyl is not really vinyl. Turns out if you actually go to a major shop that sells this stuff, a wholesaler, they don't call it vinyl. They call it heat transfer film, and that's why, because it's not actually vinyl. Okay, so I'm going to do a paranoid test here real quick, where I'm going to watch it for a second, and that's it cutting the E. So I'm just kind of checking my spacing to make sure everything looks good. I'm on my film. All right, I don't have a lot of time for testing. It's 10:30 already, so we're gonna hit reset. Okay, and ready, and Yes, Laird. If you go to the Sicer website, Sicer, which is one of the most common films sold, and you go to their website, you'll see at the bottom it says, this is what tipped me off. It says composition colon PU. Like, what the hell is that? Turns out it's polyurethane. If you go to their standard vinyl, it says composition colon PVC. So, okay, vinyl is good. Go for it. I don't really think I need the small compressor, the air assist on here, but I'm turning it on anyway. And it's gonna be really hard to see this, but and for anybody who missed it, the other sheets are on here because I'm using it to mask, so I get better suction on that sheet. It's just holding the sheet flat. You can do that with a sheet of paper. I did some Mylar cutting recently and had these sheets of like 6mm Mylar film left. This was amazingly simple for masking off the bed. Oh, I forgot to heat up the heat press. Crap. I'll be right back. Remember, boys and girls, never leave your laser unattended. Have people on Facebook Live watch it for you. That was a joke. Don't leave your laser unattended. You know what? I'm going to see if I can't get this a little closer for you guys to see. Here, let's actually go handheld for a moment here. This should be fun to weed. I don't know if you can make it out on the video, but you see a slight discoloration when it cuts. You know, it really wasn't a problem on the white that we cut the other day, and I'm hoping it isn't a problem here. So. Yeah, Todd, I think it's really important to validate the material. So I'm going to start buying from a local sign shop so that I have a little bit more provenance on the material, and we sort of know that it's more likely genuine. Oh, those look really fun to weed. Maybe not. Maybe, you know, we'll see. Easy weed, maybe it'll do its job. It's always fun to me to see the path that the Epilog driver chooses to use. Like, why did it choose to, you know, do them in that order? Is it just me, or is the heat causing some ripples as it goes? This is definitely the most complex thing I've done at this size, or with this material, rather, I should say. Getting there. We're almost done. What are we? We're 5 minutes into the job. It's definitely, see the ripples coming out? It's interesting. All right, we're gonna finish up pretty soon. Oh, look, it actually skipped some of the top letters too. Just vector pathing. See, it skipped some of the letters up there to do the stuff down here. Layered, you know, it probably took 15 minutes of screwing around the first time to get it, to get just the top layer, and then I found it was, it's you know, with the power setting so low, it tends to move around a little bit. Like if the laser's been cutting for a long time that day, it tends to need a little different calibration than first thing in the morning. It could also be differences in thickness of polyurethane or even color. I don't know at that power, but you know, once you get one dialed in, it's pretty straightforward. And you can see I did the tests in the corner. So I usually just do a 1/2-inch square test before I get started, just to make this. So let me show you if the backpack's here. This is what I did with it last week. Oh, the backpack's not here. The backpack must be, it's in the trunk of the loaner car. But I did a Ready Player One backpack last week. All right, we've got almost everything. So I'm going to put this back in. Well, I'll keep holding it here for right now. We're almost done. So we're 7 minutes in. You know, and I thought about cutting these as individual rows and then positioning it on the shirt, and I decided that I didn't want to deal with all that. So we'll let it vent for another second here. I'm going to put you guys back in the tripod. Okay, and then move you over here. So now, hopefully we can see. I don't know if you can see that coming out on there. Lots of cuts. Yeah, and so let's get this over to the counter over here. This turns into my weeding section here. Let's lift this up a little bit. Okay, let me turn some things off here. I'm always nagging people for not turning their stuff off. So the first thing I'm going to do is buy myself some scrap vinyl here. I don't want to go too close to my objects because I want some, when I put it on the shirt, I want some of the backing, because the backing is on the adhesive is on the backing, and so I want some adhesive around the objects to hold them down well. And we're going to see what it's like to weed this in like one big shot. So I'm going to see if I can get the tripod back up a little higher. Here we go. It's got a, oh, there we go. Look at that. Okay. How's that? Can you see? Weeding tool. There it is. See, Facebook Live is just an excuse for me to talk to myself and still feel sane. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just take this this big old corner here Come on. We just need the whole outside edge. And so if this is really Sicer Easy Weed, Sicer Sister, I'm never sure how to say that. It does a pretty nice job of coming off in big chunks. So let's hope that this weed's in one really nice big shot. Let's hope my cuts worked well. So here's a first test, right? Bam. Okay, so let's do. What I probably should have done is come back in here, and I could have put lines this way. And what that would have let me do is basically weed a section at a time. I think that would have been a little smarter. But hey, I could have spent 2 hours screwing around with extra stuff in Illustrator, or just started cutting. Okay, so I think the trick here. This is what we want to see, right? You want to see these big chunks just all coming off of here like this, without breaking up all the time. You kind of expect these letter centers to be a little more difficult. Oh yeah. Get out of there. The good news is letters are pretty easy for me to see what's going on with the weeding there. And I'm just gonna get this excess. See, this is my point. I could have put some weed boxes on there. I think that's the official term. Let me get the trash can before I leave a giant mess over here, like the last time I did this. And then, if I'm right here, I can go ahead and say, hey, I know this A needs to come out of here. So while I'm doing this, I can't see your comments, so I hear the phone buzzing, so I'm assuming that some of you have something awesome and interesting to say, but I can't follow you at the moment. So if I had a little bit more time on this project, I would try to do it a little bit more interactively, but he's going to be here soon, and he's had a rough month or two, so I thought this might be a way to cheer him up a little bit, and a good opportunity for me to play a little bit more with a technique that I've been wanting to do more and learn more about. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I definitely should have done weed boxes for this, because then I could have pulled it in strips. That would have been a little easier to deal with. But this is remarkably not sucking. Hopefully you can see this. Get back here. And we are at, or I am at MakerFX Makerspace this morning. If you don't know this, we have a giant Space Invader made on our floor tile over there. I'll show you that in just a second. Oh yeah, that is what we're talking about right there. Look at that. That's kind of fun. I should say that. Somebody's going, no, Ryan, throw away your crap. You don't need that. All right, so look at this. I mean, we are, well, look at this. We're already pretty damn close here. We got to weed some eyes. That's done, 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 done. All the letters are done. The ships are done. We pretty much just need to weed a lot of eyes. Okay, so let's, oh, these are going to be fun. Keep my hand from sticking to the whole thing here. Also have a little bit of extra up here in the corner that I missed. Okay, sorry for the shaky cam here. Get out of the way, trash can. Try to get you right over what I'm doing here so you can see. Good morning, all. Hope you're doing well. So I'm gonna go see Ready Player One for the third time today. I actually don't know that I've ever seen a movie in the theater 3 times before, but I saw it once on opening day by myself because, well, I had opening day tickets, but then something came up and I had to cancel, and then at the very last minute I realized I could still make a showing, so I went by myself, and then still had tickets to go with the family a couple days later, so I did one in 2D and then one in 3D. And then at the start of this, I was saying I've got a friend who, couldn't make the movie when it first came out. He had some life challenges, and so but we had joked about, he looks a lot like the James Halliday character in the movie, and we had joked about making this shirt for him so that he could cosplay as James Halliday on the opening. So he doesn't know I'm doing this, and if I don't pick up the pace, it won't be ready by the time he gets here. Although, I'm really not quite sure what size shirt he wears these days, so I think what I may do is, when he's here, let him actually be here for the last step, where we pick the... get off of here. These little eyes are infuriating. Oh, are they under? They get underneath now? No. I gotta get better at getting these all the way off. At least I can see what needs to be weeded. I did a design the other day. I think it was a DeLorean that I did for this thing, and for the Ready Player One backpack that I made, and it just was not obvious to me which pieces stayed and which pieces went. Okay, so what I got to do is, when I get, maybe I can use a piece of this, because I need to get the, no, that was bad. That was bad. Why did I just do that? Come on, Ian. What I need to do is get the eyes all the way off of here when I pull them off, so that they don't re-stick. Maybe I can put them up on. Okay, that one came off. You know what? These guys have got a piece that comes out of them too. Geez, I need to look at that. Is it that? I think it's this center piece here. This comes out. Yep, that's them. Okay, so I need to, let me stick on this top row, because otherwise I'll forget to do these little pieces. Yeah, this is definitely, see, I did it again. I dropped one. Hope you guys are enjoying this, watching me fumble with weeding. But man, did that full, the outside border, did that just come off nicely or what? That's the beauty of this, this stuff. Actually using this, this spreader to hold it down is helping quite a bit. Also, these mouthpieces are larger. I hear lots of buzzing. Scrolling back here. Hope everyone's having a great morning. Okay, still got more eyes to take off here. Still got a lot more eyes to take off. 1, 2. Can I get off 2 at a time, maybe? 1, 2. Ah, yeah. So yesterday, I did something new. The Winter Park Public Library did a kind of repair cafe concept. They did okay, let's double check my eyes and mouth on all those. Okay, so they did an event where the public brought things to be fixed. And, I've seen this concept at different makerspaces, not in person. I've seen that makerspaces do this. And it was very interesting to me to go and participate, to see, like, well, what things did people bring to have repaired. And so a lot of lamps showed up, and I thought that was good because lamps have a pretty decent success rate. I think there was one yesterday they couldn't fix, but man, I ended up staffing the electronics table at first until some other folks got there. And, the first thing that somebody brought in was a 20-year-old 5-disc CD changer with, dual cassette drive, and the cassette drive didn't work anymore. And I played with it for 20 minutes and tried to clean some things and got some dust out of it. But, in the end, it would play for a couple seconds and then shut back off. And I don't know if it's could be a bad optical encoder that's watching tape go by, could be some kind of tension thing. It's really hard to say. So I wasn't feeling too hot about the whole concept because, I just didn't feel like I was making a difference, but I was spending a lot of time. And then this woman came in, and I'm going to guess she was, late 70s, early 80s, and she had a record player, really inexpensive kind of record player, CD, combo unit, built-in speakers, and just no power whatsoever. And I opened it up, cleaned it out a little bit, reseated a bunch of the power connectors, and it got happy. And she was ecstatic. I mean, she just, like, this was a big deal to her. Okay, this mouth needs to come out too. This was a really big deal to her, and she was so grateful. It was awesome. And so, I ended up fixing that. And then there was a woman who had a CD system that had a proprietary round connector with a ton of pins that went to the subwoofer. I think it was actually where the amp and everything and all the power was in the subwoofer, and that cable, the subwoofer plugged into the wall, and then this cable ran up to whatever the CD drive or whatever was. But she had just bent the pins, taking it in and out, and so I managed to put the visor on. I was glad I took the magnifying visor for that one, and got the pins all straightened up. And it was funny. She once we got it working again, she says, "Can you tape those in?" And so we got some gaffer tape out and taped them up. And Bill says, "I need a small vacuum table." Yeah, but you know what? This works. Let's see. Hot damn! I think I did it. Look at this. Oh, don't stick to the table. How about we just look at it backwards? Let's pull this up a little bit here. Look at this. Space Invaders. So, what was that? Like, 5 minutes of cutting and 20 minutes of weeding. So, now we'll stick this on a shirt and heat press it. So let's go, let's see, what time is it? Oh, shoot, he's supposed to be here any minute. So let's go, I'm going to go unlock the door. All right, let's, we're going to take this and our little spreader thing here, and I'm going to do my best to get this tripod through the door without dropping my phone. Hear the beeping? That's the heat press saying, hey, I'm at temperature. So we're going to go back into screen printing disaster area back here that needs to, we need to pull everything out and reorganize it. We actually had this killer screen printing donation recently, and all this stuff is still in the trailer. Okay, so there's the heat press. Let me back you up just a little bit. There's the heat press. And okay, so this will beep until I shut it. So let's go ahead and we'll warm up one of our Teflon sheets. That's something I learned doing screen printing with plastisol, is that you should warm up that sheet so that it helps it bond. I don't know if it's the same thing or not. Okay, I need to find a shirt. So let's see what we got here. We've got shirts on a shelf. So okay, open. It's tension's not right because I was doing those backpacks and I raised it, and if there's not a little bit of tension or a little bit of pressure on it, it doesn't. Yeah, that releases at least now. All right, stop beeping. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the timer up. We've been using 15 seconds. I felt like it needed more like 20, 25. We'll do 20. When I did the backpack. Now that may be the difference between a backpack and a shirt. I'm going to find a step stool. I'm pretty sure that an XL shirt is what we need here. Here, this will be exciting. You can watch me fall off a step stool. It's great when all the shirts are properly put away and everything's in its right place. It's great. All right, so let's get out an XL. Ta-da! Now, I think an XL is going to work. If he's a 2XL, I don't know that I have one handy. So maybe not get a shirt. But let's look while he's not here yet, and then we'll actually make it with him, and then go from there. Okay, so somewhere here is a box of larger shirts. Hey, 2XL black. Because I knew I bought some more recently. So I don't think he's a 2X, but I wanted to have it handy in case he was. All right, there's the 2X. Here's the XL. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically stick it on the shirt and then adhere it. So let's give ourselves a little working area here. We need to clean some more crap off out here, so I have a functional. Actually, let me clean this spot off, and we'll use that as a table surface for doing the shirt. Put the art over here. Yeah, he's going to be here in a few minutes, and then we're gonna have some lunch and go see Ready Player One. All right, so that's there. Oops. Move the heat press this way a little bit. Let's have some more. Keep it on the table. Actually, I usually have the heat press this way. I don't know why I got it turned like that. That'll give us a lot more. So now we can actually see. Let's get all the dust off the shirt. Now, thing is, he's not a big fan of black shirts, but in the movie, this shirt is black with gold. So let's get a little preview action here. Oh yeah, it's gonna pop. You know, and I know he doesn't like black shirts, but if he wants a different color, I'll make him a different color another day. So, but this will be his super cosplay shirt. All right, let's go. While we're waiting, let's go see. I'll find the that backpack that I made. I think it's in the trunk of my loaner car. Weed the small items on a light table, then weed the large area. Yeah, you know, in hindsight, Bill, that makes a lot of sense. I should have done the small weeding first, because then my hand wouldn't have been sticking to the adhesive the whole time. That's a really good. That's a pro tip from Bill right there. That's kind of cool though. I like that. It's like pixel fun here. You know what? I can also do a little cleaning because I used all this vinyl to mask, so I can do this here. You know, and it all says that it's Sisser brand or Sicer or whatever it is, but you know, you don't know because the material's not marked in any way, so it's hard to guarantee. All right, let's go find that backpack. Pocket. Yep. There it is. So this is the backpack that I made. Oh yeah, emergency cookies for yesterday. This is the backpack that I made. This is that same stuff, right? Heat transfer vinyl, and just made each one of these individually and just kept sticking stuff on this this inexpensive. You're going to see us do this at events and other things because your material cost here is only a couple bucks. And so I look forward to, actually let's go ahead and take this in, and I can take my new swag kit in too, because I don't need to, I had that out for the event that we did yesterday, my new grab and go swag kits. Swag kit over here on the stairs so it can go back upstairs when I'm done. Now we're going to be recording the first official episode of the Nation of Makers podcast later this afternoon, which should be pretty cool. Oh, here's the Big Space Invader. I told you I had a Big Space Invader on the floor. Bam. It's kind of crapped up right now, but there it is. That's how you make cheap floor tile look good. So, and there's a pack of backpacks and other stuff. So, all right, let's see. All right, so who's here? Who we got here live? How do I see who's watching? I know there's a way to see who's watching. Can I swipe? All right, so let me go ahead and clean up here a little bit more, right? We'll put the key back in the pocket. So we're gonna file, save. We're gonna close our Illustrator action here, and go ahead and power down the laser. This is a fun thing somebody added. It's keep you from accidentally powering off the laser. Oh, I guess there's a delay. I asked who was watching, and now I see a bunch of people waving and saying me. That's funny. So, good morning, Bill. Good morning, Chad. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Well, shoot, I was hoping he would show up like just in time, and you could actually see his reaction. Andrew looks like, okay. All right. Well, yeah, here's our extra mask. Yeah, I definitely like Bill's idea. Weed the small stuff. I guess I did the big one first because it felt like it would let me see what I needed to do first, but like with this, with the repetitive eyes, that definitely would have been easier to do. Let me show you another project I've been working on. I mean, it's simple, but I love, you know, I'm all about making everything grab and go, right?
we do events, and biggest pain in the ass with events is getting all your crap together. And so I really like these rigid cases, and so that's our button gear. And these rigid cases are nice, they all stack. So like when you open these, if you want, you can see sorry for all the shaky cam. Here's our, bam, 1-inch button supplies. Isn't that great? Love it. And then similarly, here's the 2.5 or 2.25 inch. Got our stickers, got, some Kaizen foam action there. When we go to an event, we pop these out on the table, and we're good to go. And then the big one has the 4 button makers in it. Lid's not on, although it's got a bunch of extra crap. So, like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a shelf in here that went above the button makers? Because when the handles are down, you could pile extra stuff in. Well, I had the same idea for this. So this is going to be our soldering kit grab and go. And let's see if I can do it one-handed here. Still a little snug, but there are tape measure got stuck down in there. So there will be 3 Hacko kits with all their associated stuff. And see these little pieces of wood here, there, and then this lip here. And so now I lasered this out. It's a little snug, so I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do this one-handed. Oh, there it goes. And so that pops down there. And then I'll put more foam. Actually, Neil had the great idea of putting a piece of strip all on the bottom, so it holds those 3 in from floating around. And then I'll put another piece on top, which will hold 3 more. And this bin will hold 6 of these Hacko stations, just ready to go. No messing around. Speaking of which, I ordered more tips. Tips. See, I'm organized. Ta-da. So anyway, yeah, I need to finish that up, and then these 2 will have all the extra, everything from Makey kits to our advanced soldering kits to cutters and solder and flux and all that. And you will just basically, I'll get them all labeled, and you want to go teach soldering somewhere, bam, grab them, roll out the door. So love doing that. He is not here yet. I'm going to have to call him in a few minutes. Okay. Yeah, here's some more transfer vinyl we did for Skip. Oh yeah, he did his event. I wonder how that was. I also made him, when I cut these, I cut some small ones, and he put them on the side of a pair of red Chuck Taylors, which looked really good, which was kind of fun. So, all right, well, I'm killing time now, waiting for him to show up. I guess I could just stop this and restart it later when he gets here and show you. But let me just walk you through, just in case you've been watching the video. Let me just tell you how this would work. I mean, it's actually really simple, but let me just give you the conclusion in case you were waiting for that. Sorry for the shaky cam. So all we would do at this point is literally place the art on the t-shirt you want. That's why you have all the sticky backing, which is nice. Ah, look, there's a stuck pixel. I'm gonna have to get the see if I can get it with my oh, look, it actually came off on the shirt. We don't want any stuck pixels. Well, that'd be kind of funny. So we would position this properly, the yellow side up the way we wanted it, and then put it in the heat press, 305 degrees for somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds. I want a little bit longer because I want all these little fine details to stick. And then it's wash and wear after that. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to end this video and then I will turn it back on. If he's amenable, I'll turn it back on and we will record making the actual shirt once he gets here in a little bit. So hey, have a great morning. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you did watch this video, again, your warning is you cannot laser standard vinyl, right? You can't laser adhesive vinyl. But it turns out some brands of heat transfer vinyl aren't really vinyl. They're polyurethane. And if they're polyurethane, you can cut them in a laser, and you can set your laser to cut just the vinyl and not the backing. And then you can do this on your laser. So again, that's on you to make sure you get the right stuff, because lasering vinyl or PVC could kill you. So end of disclaimer. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk to you later.